Let me put it to you this way: Tom Surson, Jim Riley, Joe Zillick, Harry Race, Bernard LaChance, Tom Surson. Oh, I'm sorry, Trevor Rieger, Bernard LaChance, DJ Dave Balamorad, Perlita Jones, Quinn Wands, Jim Hall, Bill Duvall, Doug King, Elton Anderson, Don Wiley, 1961 Amphibious Bassman, Bitted Bat 4, Blue Boy Boxes, GPS Paso Robo, Rapist Knight, Red Randy, Red Gordon, and Ellery's, and Karen Fausto, Country and Western. Okay, Joe, Harry, Bernard, if you profess that I'm always wrong, Ellery, Joe, Bernard, wouldn't it you think that, the police, firefighters, doctors, their children, the military, the major tech companies and all that would find ways to correct or make it right, like NASA or whatnot, right? If I'm always wrong, like you profess, Robo Knight and Ellery and Whispering Faggot the Fairmount, then your crime spree there. If I'm always wrong and you guys were justified, wouldn't you think that those who have to watch all of it would find ways of making it right or correct, right, to avoid? Get it how you're triple folding there, Bernard? So if people always know Bernard LaChance, LaFreeman, and certain groups of people always run a con, scam, and a grift, African Americans or so on and so forth, and I'm always wrong, but you guys' story of bullshit is always right, then what? So you got to be careful there. And so also remember, Jim Riley, Joe Zillick, Harry Race, Bernard LaChance, DJ Dave, Perlita Quinn, Elton Anderson, Don Wiley, and so on and so forth. Just because the group of you did not believe something in the beginning doesn't mean other people didn't, believe. So you have to be careful there as you were showboating, Joe. And if people saw that All American Antilla, and it's all about your showboat in the Carney and the ghetto life of Perlita, when your special selected DJ Dave Indian Boy Dave, Joe, understand when you have major cities in the United States, people learn. And then, some people start to find out that learning is fun. Maybe, Bernard, people didn't want to be your prison fag. And so prison inmates start to figure out, hey, learning can be fun. Help their children, so on and so forth. You never know. People want to do better. Bernard, maybe they've always wanted to go into space, but, some people prevented it. So you never know. You got to be careful with NASA and the NSA and the FBI and some of those people because they want to learn. Bernard, maybe they don't want to be stuck on the planet with you, Bernard LaChance, and your cons and scams and grifts. So you never know. You got to be careful, Bernard Kimberly, college student. They like their enemy chicks too. So they talk to their enemy chicks, and you guys made fun of the enemy chicks. So they're helping their enemy chick. I'm not going to stop them. Love is a strange thing. And maybe the playing doctor is different now. I don't know. I've been out of the circle so long. I'm not as cool, I guess, as the rest of you. But hey, that's what happens, Bernard. That's what happens when you isolate people out and, do the Jehovah's Witness thing. These people are allowed to do things. These ones are not. These children have more special privilege over the other ones. That's not. What happened is Robo Knight and Ellery and Joe, you didn't follow good advice. You guys wanted to do Carney show and take stuff and, people check things out. You guys want to run cover-up, scam, and grift. Ellery wants to, make all that noise with Perlita and fade in, fade out, and that's why I posted, sound waves. Yep, fades out too, right? So again, I think Kimberly figured you out, Bernard and Ellery and some of you people, as he does the Indian fade too. So you can pretend, Joe, but I think your group of BB4 Carney made people sick on purpose, Bernard, to make yourselves look like heroes. Because you ran a war across the United States and made everybody jacked up, and so now you got to save face. Like I said, Bernard, it's always about, with some of you, how many times you got laid and who you got laid with. And I don't give a shit, and most people don't anyway. That's why, like I said, I don't do African American stuff, because when our stuff was set in, Bernard, they weren't there, and there was a reason. Because my dad didn't want his stuff screwed up. To Bernard, I don't do those certain drugs, but you can make up a story if you want. I've already told you what I've done as far as that goes. Let's see. If you're spying and sneaking around, Bernard, with my mommy and some of those people, and you don't know what you're looking at and stuff, and you make up a story, just so you can have a country and western farm barnyard with Joe again, go ahead. But it's not how it works. You guys haven't done waves for so long, you almost rejected that from the beginning. And so, Joe, what do you want me to do? David goes around as your servant. If he wants to be a slave to you men, I don't care. If Perlita wants to be, I don't care. But you have to deal with the consequences that come with it, Perlita and Dave, and guess what? You got to do everything that man tells you to do, even though he's a, con man. And that's not a life for me. And see, what else did I say? I don't do ghetto gangster, Perlita. For one, I want those people who are in those to have a better life. So I don't want to live that lifestyle. And I never have, and I never will. Okay? The dreamy boy there wants to sit there and profess that he has this big old knowledge base of everybody tabulated, but it's really their own inbreedy all-American mess. And then they use it for his Carney performance show. And I told you, Harry and Bernard, some of us who are actually correctly done before, you guys, did your smash and grab, didn't want your Carney because we knew it was going to cause problems, but Harry and them had to have their way and take it all over. So when you take something over, Harry, from Brian or the Beswicks or, grifted, claim an inheritance or claim that I'm married to you, Perlita, and those children ain't mine, and you do all this shit and you don't know what you're doing with it, it means kind of, Bernard, the stuff never belonged to you anyway. The blue boat, everything, you guys are Joe and them claiming, So you can do All-American Medical again and Tillerman and Joe. But why did it fail last time? Maybe because you're a racist last time, Joe, and you did the same thing you're doing now. This one's more special than this one. This one's more special than this one. This one wore white. This one wore blue. This one wore red, green. And that's your problem, Joe. What did I have an argument with you before? That actually makes people more sick because you don't want to cure the bigger population. So you can go and pretend, and now we cured all these ones, and they're all nice and secure. And that's why I'm tired of it, Joe. Because when it was working right and there was nothing wrong at all, you guys didn't want to choose to defend that to get that back working. You guys wanted to do your own personal interests and make zombies and stuff with David, and it made a big shit mess after you guys did all that. So get your team back together, Pickens Street, Jamaica Street. And yes, you can get it to work this way, but it's basically kind of a wave, but it's not. And it's going to take you guys about 1,000+ years to evolve through it, if you want to call that atheism, but it may not turn out the way you think. Because atheism applied to a computer system, or if you artificially intelligent it, is not going to be, even what your guys' programmed conscious mind believes it is now. So that premise doesn't exactly work. So when we were all nice and cleaned up and taken care of, and it was working, Karen, and all that stuff, Ellery and Joe, you should have just left it alone. Because you may not be able to evolve back up now, because of what you guys did in your Carney story, Bernard. Understand? Because if it belonged to Bill Gates or Apple and you guys were up there, why tear it apart in the first place? Because Joe wanted to sit there and take control of the Black and Death, so he could supposedly have the sob story of LGBT and HIV and all that shit. And people don't need that, Bernard, Joe, Harry. They don't. Your sacred story. And that's what I'm saying, Bernard. You just hopped on the Judy Shepherd boat to gain sympathy so you don't have to answer for your past crimes.